Hello artists, welcome to the Watercolor Center. We are doing level D today. Super exciting. Let's get started. All right, so in front of me, as always, I have my experiment paper out and my sketchbook. I'm gonna go ahead and put my name at the top. I have my messy mat and I'm at watercolor. I'm moving on to level D. All right, let's see what this looks like today. It says here, level D on my level sheet, I can paint light to dark colors and I can mix the secondary colors. All right, it says I can wait for the paper to dry so the colors won't bleed. I can add details once the paint is dry, and I can use crayons to resist the paint, create using textures and patterns. That sounds like a lot. Okay. In front of me here, instead of just 9 colors of watercolor, I get 16 colors. This one's kind of dirty looking, but that's okay. You can kind of see a lot of the colors here. I get 16 colors, but I know I need to paint light to dark, so it'll be my job to find my light colors and my dark colors. I also have here my water cup and my paper towel. I have here a box of the white, gray, and black crayons. And then I have a bunch of different kinds of brushes inside this bucket here. Okay. First, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open up my crayons here and get those ready to go. And I'm going to put a number 1 at the top here, and I'm going to draw a line and put a number 2. If I take a look here at my resource page, I can see that I have some crayons here with some shapes, and I'm going to be starting to mix my secondary colors. All right, playing and experimenting first. Here we go. When I'm playing and experimenting, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just draw some shapes on my paper here, just whatever I want. And then I'm just going to leave some space open here for my mixing of my secondary colors. Okay, so with the Crayon Resist, let's talk about that first. With Crayon Resist, crayon is a wax, and when I put it down, the paint will resist it. The paint won't want to stick to it. So I'm going to take a white crayon here, and I'm just going to make some lines to make a texture and a pattern. And I'm going to go ahead and put those in. I also want to see what that looks like with just like a black crayon. So I'm going to go ahead and trace, I think, the outline of this here, and then I'm going to go ahead and put in some really cool lines to see what the paint does with it. All right, now that I have that, I'm going to take a brush that I think is a good size here. I think for me that's going to be a medium brush and a small brush. Okay, once I have that, I can go ahead and start to activate my watercolors here. With my 16 colors, it is important to make sure I'm still painting light to dark. Light to dark. So that means that my lightest color in here is going to be the yellow, and my darkest color here is going to be the black. Okay, so I'm going to start off, I think, with this lovely red here. And again, I'm just going to activate it by moving the watercolors around in a circle so that they're not too sticky. Then I can go ahead and put that down in my shape. Oh, look at that. The crayon is resisting the watercolor. Anytime I try to put the watercolor on top of the crayon, it tries to move around. It doesn't want to stick to it. Okay, I'm going to wash out my brush, and now I'm going to go ahead and get a darker color. All right, I think I'm going to do a green, a lime green. Okay, I remember my color orders. I remember that it's yellow, orange, or yellow, orange, red, green, blue, purple, brown, black. All right, here I go. This is the one I used the white crayon on. We're going to see what happens. Well, I can see it's starting to resist that white crayon a little bit. Sometimes it might take a little bit, like after it dries, as the paint starts to dry, that is when it will start to resist the color. So we can see that some of my lines in here won't start to resist the color until it starts drying. You can see some of them, but not all of them. But as it starts to dry, it'll move away from the crayon. All right, now it says that I need to make my secondary colors. My secondary colors are up on the color wheel. If I look in the room, I can see the color wheel. My 3 primary colors are red, blue, and yellow. Those are the colors that I have to start with to make other colors. My other colors that are secondary are purple, orange, and green, and I can make those by combining my primary colors. Let's see what that looks like. If I take the red and yellow, if I take a red and yellow, I will be able to make orange. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So here I have my yellow and my orange. They're connected by this dark line, and I can see right in the middle, the next biggest circle is the orange. That means when I take these two, I can make orange. So let's make some orange. I'm gonna activate my yellow here. All right, and I'm going to just get a swatch of yellow going, and then I'm gonna wash out my brush, and then the other color was red. So I'm gonna take my red that's right over here, and I'm gonna go ahead and get that going. And here in the middle, I should start to see a little bit of orange when I put that right on top. You can kind of see it. My paper's getting kind of wet here, so it's hard to see, but I can see some orange starting to form. Okay, now when I take the yellow and the blue, those are my 2 primaries, it's gonna make green. Let's try it out. All right, yellow here, get some yellow, okay. Now I need to wash out my brush. I'm going to go ahead and get some blue. That looks like that's one right here. It's kind of sticky and I need some more water. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and paint it right over. Ooh, it's starting to make a green color right where I'm touching right on top of the yellow. Last color, last secondary color is purple. If I take red and blue, it's going to make purple. It's the one in the middle. Okay, here we go. So red was my first color, and then I'm going to take some blue here. Oh, I see some purple. Ooh, that's such a pretty purple. Okay, now that I have that done, I'm ready to make a mini artwork. I need to plan using pencil first. Draw it out. Then I can use the crayon to make patterns and textures, like here, and maybe some more of that. You don't have to use white. You can use the gray and the others. You can kind of see a little bit in this yellow. It got really light. Then I'm going to paint in the color order and paint all my colors. So my yellow was first, then my orange, then my red, then my green, then the purple. Then I need to let the paint dry to prevent the bleeding. Right? So if I don't want these 2 colors to mix, I need to let all of my paint dry. Then I can go in and add small details with my small brush. Happy creating!